Welcome. We're here to do a devotion with you. Name is Brother Danny. We're here at Temple Baptist Church in Poplar, Bluff, Missouri. Brother Gentry asked if I could fill in for him. So we got 4 sessions, I believe, that we're going to do this month. And so for today, I want to start and look at a passage in Proverbs. I don't normally title things, but Trust in God or Trusting God. Proverbs chapter 3. Let me go ahead and give you the main verses. And look at verses 5 through 6 and go with that. It says, Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, lean not to thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Verse 7 along with that says, Be not wise in thine own eyes, but fear the Lord and depart from evil. Been asked through the years, there's times of just where do I need to start with? And so this passage, when you're wondering just where to go, you don't know, your path has kind of got out of kilter. These 2 verses in particular, to just trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding, gives us a little bit of understanding. Let me read to you that passage that it gives in. We said 5 verses before and 5 after. So let's look at chapter 3 just for a moment. My son, forget not the law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. For the length of thy days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine own heart. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man. And then the verses we read, Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not to thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. For be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord, depart from evil, and it shall be to thy navel health, and tomorrow to thy bones. Honor the Lord with thy substance, with all the first fruits of thine own increase. So shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and the presses shall burst out with new wine. There is a warning there that ends up the last 2 verses of this section. My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction. For whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth, even as a father the son in whom he delighteth. There are a few other scriptures that will help us when we understand this. The beginning, as we read of this chapter, says, Forget not thy law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. For the days of thy life be long, and peace, and they shall add unto thee. Deuteronomy, there we have in chapter 30, in verse 15 and 16, reads this. See, I have set before you this day life and good, death and evil. And that I command you this day to love the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, to keep his commandments, and his statutes, and his judgments, that thou may live long and multiply. And the Lord thy God shall bless thee in the land wherever thou go to possess it. We see then that these days and length of days and long life and peace can come from God, because we have that choice then to trust him or not. And he's promised then in his word, remember, God cannot lie, and he promises it against himself, that if we just trust in him with all of our heart, indeed, that these days and this peace that passes understanding from come. He continues to let not mercy and truth forsake thee, but bind them about thy neck and write them upon thy heart. Micah chapter 6:8 says, He showed thee, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require thee? But to do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with thy God. Hosea chapter 2 says that's what God betrothed upon us. And he said, I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness, in judgment, in loving kindness, and in mercies. And so we have that God has already shared through his word, these tidbits, if you will, that gives us instruction, gives us hope as we continue to walk with him. It says, as we read, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and don't lean to your own understanding, but acknowledge him not in some things, but in all things, and He will make your path straight. Direct them as it is. Ryrie says it'll even clear your obstructions so you'll be able to go forward. That's the only way. Acknowledge Him in everything. Had one guy there long ago when we look at, I think it's Peter, that says, place all your cares upon the Lord, for He cares for you. And so if it is a care for you, it's a care to take it to God. Trust in Him then with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding. Proverbs also teaches us then, let me find chapter 16, verse 6 and 7, and it reads this: By mercy and truth iniquity is purged. By the fear of the Lord men depart from evil. And when a man's ways please the Lord, He maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. So just for a moment, for these words, may you take them, but trust in God. Hopefully already you've gave Him your heart. You know Him as Savior and Sovereign, and He will lead you into paths of righteousness for His name's sake. Be blessed in your doing. If you need to, you can contact here at Temple Baptist Church in Poplar, Bluff, Missouri, 573-785-1250. We're here on Sunday mornings, Sunday evenings. Sunday school starts at 9, worship at 8 and 10 in the mornings. Again, at 6 Sunday night, 7 o'clock Wednesday nights. Be glad to have you. Come, you're welcome.